In a world of sorcery and enchanted weapons, a team of assassins infiltrates an auction held by human traffickers. Meanwhile, in another realm, two assassin-san old man and a young tomboy work together to quietly take out their targets, a mafia boss and a specific number of his men. When the older man declares their mission complete, the tomboy grumbles about the remaining key mafia members they left alive. He shuts her down, reminding her they're just assassins assigned to eliminate a set, list nothing more. When she tries to play the hero, he points out that if their organization wanted the whole mafia dead, they'd have ordered it. After a moment's thought, she reluctantly agrees. Before leaving their sniper perch, the old man spots a drone watching them. He takes the wheel and, as they speed off, tells his partner to ready her weapon and follow his lead. Armed forces chase them down the highway, trading gunfire until their van explodes. Earlier, inside the van, the old man had explained that once a drone spots them, escape is impossible. Their best shot? Keep the headlights on to draw the drone's focus. He tells her to hang her gun from the roof, rigging the trigger with a wire so bumps make it fire randomly. Since drones have top-tier cameras, they'll only get one chance. His plan: make the van the obvious target, then bail while the guards chase it. The empty van will lure them away, and with any luck, their shots will hit the spare gas tank and ignite it. Everything goes as planned. The van blows up a safe distance away. Noticing his partner's bleeding leg, the man offers to patch her up. As he tends to her, he wonders who sent the drone. He decides they'll stay put until dawn. Confused, the tomboy asks why they're not fleeing under cover of darkness. He explains that the ground's cooler temperature at night makes their body heat stand out to infrared cameras. At sunrise, when the ground warms past human body temp, they'll move. Lying flat, the tomboy asks why he became an assassin. His answer is cold and simple. He was born and raised by their organization, trained to kill since childhood. It's the only life he knows. She presses, asking if he's content being the organization's tool. Proudly, he says he's their greatest asset. She sits up, accusing him of having no humanity. Calmly, he replies that emotions, cloud judgment assassins don't need feelings. He sits up and announces his plan to retire and start a new job with an organization called Japan. The tomboy asks if he means a Japanese assassination group, but he clarifies it's an educational organization where he'll train new assassins. He tells her their current mission is just practice for training recruits, and he wouldn't have brought a novice assistant otherwise. The tomboy takes offense at being called a novice, insisting she was trained by the organization and is top of her class. As she rants, the older man presses her own gun against her forehead. While she freezes, he asks how he managed to disarm her and accuses her of blindly trusting him, assuming he wouldn't kill her. He muses that he might have planned to eliminate her later to leave no evidence. Pretending to come clean, he admits he lied about training new assassin. She only used her as a distraction to escape, but she became dead weight. Cocking the gun, he asks what she was taught to do in this situation. Shaking, she stammers that she knows techniques to break free, but doubts they'd work on him. He scolds her for relying on his mercy, calling her a rookie again. Professionals trust no one, he says, then hands back her gun and tells her to sleep. Annoyed, she aims the gun at him and threatens to shoot. When he doesn't react, she accuses him of trusting her not to pull the trigger, but then he casually empties the bullets onto the ground. Did she really think he'd return a loaded weapon after threatening her? Another lesson: she's still green. The next morning, they reach a safe house to contact their boss. The superior congratulates the man on a successful mission, wishes him a happy retirement, and thanks him for his service, but the man reveals his new role, training assassins. The boss jokes about him becoming a teacher, then directs him to a drawer with further instructions, adding that he must take his partner along. After the call, the man tosses the tomboy a fake American passport. From now on, she's Mila Martinez, and he's Alan Smith. He holds up 2 plane tickets to Japan. On the flight, as the veteran assassin finally relaxes, thinking his violent days are over, the plane shakes violently. Checking a passenger's phone, he sees news about their flight losing contact. While attendants panic, the tomboy rushes to his seat. He realizes the organization is tying up loose ends. Why go this far just to kill him? Walking to the cockpit, he pieces it together. They saddled him with a rookie so he'd focus on escaping and board this doomed plane. Inside, he finds the pilots dead. Resigned, he braces as a missile hits. Sinking into the ocean, he wonders why they betrayed him so brutally. He'd have died for them without hesitation. A strange hand drags him ashore. He wakes in a crystalline realm. Lounges on a crystal throne. She kicks aside his near-death experience and explains she summoned his soul after death. She offers 2 choices: rebirth as a blank slate, or keeping his memories and skills to serve her in another world. "Who do you want me to kill?" he demands. She grins at his bluntness. His mission? Enter a fantasy world of swords and sorcery and assassinate its hero. The soul of the summoned assassin expresses disbelief at being reincarnated while keeping his memories. Explains that before reincarnation, the souls of the dead are cleansed of impurities and recycled into a new world. The man confirms that he understands reincarnation as being reborn without any past life memories. After some back and forth, the assassin declares he doesn't want a second chance at life life serving others. The goddess calmly assures him that as long as he completes her quest, she doesn't care how he lives his life. She tells him he'll be reborn in a fantasy world of swords and sorcery to kill the hero, with 18 years to complete the task after his rebirth. After further explanation, the assassin notes the hero is a Valoros man. The informs him that 16 years after his birth, the hero will defeat the demon lord and save the world, but afterward, he'll use his power to plunge the world into chaos, leading to its destruction 18 years later. She orders the assassin to kill the hero immediately. The assassin points out that, based on the knowledge she gave him, human abilities have limits, but the hero is an exception, far surpassing others. Says she chose an assassin because only an assassin can kill the hero. The assassin asks for the best possible abilities within human limits, and she agrees to give him the highest stats a human can theoretically have. The goddess summons a magical dome containing all human accessible skills, and promises him 5 skills of his choice. Before deciding, the assassin asks 3 questions. First, he notes her limited ability to interfere with the world, and asks if reincarnating him from another world oversteps her bounds. She replies she only reached out because she was desperate otherwise. She'd have wiped his memory and given him random skills. Second, he asks if he can kill the hero as soon as he's ready, but she says he must wait until after the hero kills the demon lord. Finally, he asks how she'd feel if he saved the world without killing the hero. She says her only goal is saving the world. If he can spare the hero too, he should. With that, the assassin accepts her offer and strategically picks his skills: rapid recovery, limitless growth, martial arts, and special low skill. He then chooses the 4 basic elements as his attributes. After finalizing his choices, he's reborn as a newborn. In the next scene, the Tuatha Dé household celebrates their newest member. Chian Tuatha Dé, the father, tells his wife he wants to name their son Luke Tuatha Dé. Concerned, the wife asks if their son will be taught the family's ways. Chian insists the kingdom needs the Tuatha Dé. She reminds him of their lost elder son, Ruff, but Sion promises Lu will be kept safe and raised to be strong. The assassin wakes up and realizes he's been reborn as the child of Cien Tuatha Dé and Esri Tautha Dé, named Lu. 7 years after his reincarnation, Lu hasn't used magic yet, but has been steadily practicing hunting to build up his mana. After a successful hunt, he heads home to cook his catch. His parents are amazed by their 7-year-old's modern dishes. Lu has taken charge of cooking to ensure balanced nutrition for healthy growth. Esri raves about the pressure cooker her son invented, while Sion praises him for being so clever. Cooking has never been a problem in his past life. He'd once posed as an undercover chef to infiltrate a party where his target was present. After announcing the food is ready, the Tothas head to the dining room. His parents compliment his skills. Watching his playful mother and calm father, Lu, raised as an emotionless assassin in his past life, feels loved by them now. Qian tells his son to meet him in the training room after eating. On his way downstairs, Lu reflects on his father's dual personality. When he arrives, Qian instructs him to undress and take strategic stances while he performs a professional physical assessment. Over the years, Lu has learned his family are publicly doctors, but secretly assassins who eliminate threats to their kingdom. Xian has trained him in medicine and assassination techniques to prepare him as the family heir. Lu notes how convenient it is to be born into an assassin family, given his mission. After the exam, Xian remarks on Lu's rapid growth and recovery. He tells his son he's ready to give him the mystic eyes of Tauch Day. Lu internally notes that the eyes are a Tuatha Dé family secret, created through magical surgery after experiments on death row criminals. The eyes let the user perceive mana, see great distances, and enhance dynamic vision, depth perception, precision, and night vision. Lu agrees to the surgery, trusting his father to do his best. During recovery, Lu wears a blindfold. While Esri plays with him in the garden, Xian checks on his healing progress. Lu updates them, and when his mother assumes he can see, he explains he's pinpointing objects by sound. Xian praises him for enduring the surgery and mastering key assassin skills. Later, Xian removes the bandages, and Lu marvels at his new eyes. He tests his vision and confirms it's clear. Xian offers to teach him the procedure so he can perform it on his own child someday. He also mentions a new magic tutor arriving next week. A week later, Esri dresses Lu as a girl against his will to greet the tutor. When the carriage arrives, Lu wonders if the little girl stepping out is really his teacher. Xian thanks the young woman for coming, and she politely replies that the Viaconis owe the Tuatha Dé family a great debt. Approaching Lu, the girl doubts he's old enough to learn, but Xian assures her his son is a genius like her. The tutor, Dia, locks eyes with Lu, accusing him of underestimating her. To prove her point, she casts a powerful spell and introduces herself as Dia Viaconione of the Swigle's top 5 mages. In the garden, Lu politely introduces himself to his tutor, Dia. Dia, who's only 3 years older than him, tells him not to be so formal around her. She explains that she'll spend the next 2 weeks teaching him everything about magic. Dia hands him a far stone and says that before they begin, she needs to measure his magical capacity. She instructs him to pour all his mana into the stone. Lu, who's trained to increase his magic over the years, releases an inhumanly massive amount of mana. Seeing the overwhelming surge of energy, Dia panics and tells him to throw the stone as far as he can. Lu obeys, using his physical reinforcement skill to hurl it skyward where it explodes with a deafening blast blast, catching the attention of the homeowners, Xian and Ezri. Xian sternly demands to know who caused the explosion. Dia nervously apologizes and tries to take the blame, but to her surprise, Xian and Ezri praise their son for wielding such powerful magic. Xian even asks Dia if she can include assassination spells in her lessons. After a brief exchange, the parents leave the kids to their training. Lu asks Dia if he can get more far stones, but she refuses, explaining they're treasured heirlooms in her family and not meant for outsiders. That night, as Lu wonders how to acquire more stones, Dia shows up to sleep in his room. Lu is stunned to find his tutor tucked into his bed. When he asks why she's there, Dia claims to be his older sister and hints that Xian is keeping secrets from the family. She declares that for the rest of her time as his teacher, he'll be her little brother. The next morning, by the river, Dia and Lu practice magic. She hands him another far stone and tells him to channel a small amount of mana into it, testing him for possible elemental affinities. Dia is shocked when she realizes Lu has all 4 basic attributes: fire, water, earth, and wind. Later, sitting on a fallen log, she teaches him how to convert his mana into spells, starting with earth. As he follows her guidance, Lu feels his once colorless mana take on new purpose. After the process, he sees word-like characters in his mind. Dia explains that spells come as revelations from their creator. The more you cast them, the more new spells you unlock. Lu points out he can't read the incantation letters in his head. Dia demonstrates a spell to create copper and is stunned when Lu replicates it perfectly after hearing the incantation just once. When his spell produces a deformed result, Dia explains mispronunciation affects the outcome. Over the next few days, Lu improves rapidly. One day, he asks if spells can be cast from written transcriptions instead of mental letters. Dia jots down an incantation for creating iron, and Lu successfully summons a brick of it. Excited, he suggests she write down all the spells she knows, but she dismisses the idea as too much work. Lu notices a pattern in the few incantations Dia has written. He devises a way to create new spells and asks if she wants to test one. He dictates the details while she writes them down, but when Dia tries to cast the spell, her magic falters, and she briefly faints. She explains she felt a sudden, sharp headache while attempting it. Lu picks up the paper and successfully casts the spell himself. He realizes only those with spell waiver abilities can use self-made incantations. An idea strikes him. He rushes to rewrite the same spell for her. When Dia tries his version, it works flawlessly. She's thrilled, gushing over the chance to cast new spells from Lu's transcriptions. A few days later, Lu and Dia practiced by the riverbank. Lu crafted a magic-powered gun and tested it out. Dia was amazed by the results and made a similar gun of her own. Lu decided to upgrade his creation by magically forging an armored tank, but after testing it, he realized that despite its strength, it started falling apart after the first trial. When Dia raved about the incredible weapon her student had made, Lu named the spell he'd created and asked if she wanted to try it. She politely declined, saying she didn't have enough mana to power such a powerful device. On Dia's last night as Lu's tutor, she hugged him and said her goodbyes solemnly. Lu got out of the bed they'd shared and crafted a dagger made of beta titanium alloy material stronger and lighter than iron. He gave it to her as a parting gift, thanking her for teaching him everything about magic as promised. In return, Dia thanked him for helping her realize she could create her own spells and promised to write more for him to complete the next time they met. To return the favor, she gave Lu a necklace with a far stone pendant as her parting gift and made him promise to come whenever she called for him. The two sealed their promise with a bet. The next morning, Dia said goodbye to Lu and his family before boarding her carriage. She announced she'd return one day, and Lu assured her he'd be waiting. As the carriage moved, Xian praised his son's brilliance and told Lu he'd teach him the truth about their family name. That evening, father and son rode together in a carriage. Xian asked Lu what the motto of the House of Tuatha Dé was. Lu answered that their skills must only be used for the prosperity of the Alvan Kingdom. Xian then asked what the medical techniques of Tuatha Dé were for. Lu replied that they were meant to sustain the lives of exceptional people. Next, Xian questioned the purpose of their assassination techniques. Lu said they were only for removing the kingdom's illnesses and preventing harm. Xian commended his son for answering correctly and said he'd teach him the secrets needed to master those skills. Lu was surprised when they arrived at their destination, the prison. Xian explained they were in the section where death row criminals from across the kingdom were held. Lu guessed the prisoners could be used for medical experiments and killing practice. Xian praised his intelligence and explained that most people resist killing, often losing their own lives in the process. The visit's purpose was to help Lu practice killing so he wouldn't struggle with that resistance. Lu asked why his father had raised him to hesitate before killing, instead of suppressing his emotions to become a mere assassination tool. Xian praised the question, saying they didn't kill just because they were ordered. They assessed whether a job benefited the kingdom and understood why they were killing. He added that human values were necessary to read others' minds, and humanity itself was a weapon for assassination. Lu admitted he didn't fully understand. Xian led him into a dark room and announced it was time for his first kill. A rugged woman, Margaret, age 19, sentenced to death for robbery, murder, and arson, begged for her life with tears tears in her eyes. Xian told Lu to kill her as he saw fit. Lu approached calmly, urging the crying woman to stay still. He drew his dagger and cut off her left hand, explaining that the sharp blade would minimize pain due to adrenaline, and she'd die peacefully from blood loss before feeling much. Maigret turned on Xian, accusing him of tricking her into thinking she'd be spared if she manipulated the boy with her tears. She violently swore to burn Lu alive like her other victims. Lu walked away and threw his dagger at the screaming woman. 10 years after Lu's reincarnation, a frail little girl trudges through the dense forest. Weak from malnutrition and hunger, she collapses onto the cold forest floor, reflecting on her life. Disowned by her impoverished family, who, in their desperate poverty, chose to lighten their burden, she remembers being cast out by her father as an unwanted child. As she struggles to get up, a pack of wolves ambushes her. Overwhelmed by hopelessness, she resigns herself to the hungry predators. But when one lunges at her, she suddenly awakens to a deep, buried will to survive. Meanwhile, Xian and his family stroll through the market. Xian remarks on the region's bountiful harvest this year. Two vendors catch Ezri's eye, showcasing their cookies. Ezri fawns over the treats and playfully guilts her son into wanting some. Xian mentions the popularity of his own dish and notes the steady supply of meat through winter. Expressing high hopes for the harvest festival, Lu scans the crowd with his enhanced vision, searching for someone with enough mana to join his cause. He spots an old man but dismisses him outright. Perched above the city, Lu continues scouring for a young person with mana but finds none. At 10 years old, he reminds himself he has 8 years left to kill the hero. He reveals his plan to recruit a skilled assistant with mana, but since most who possess it are nobles or their relatives, the task seems nearly impossible. Later, Ezri grumbles about her son going hunting in the cold. Lu insists he must go before the snow falls or they'll face a lean winter. With that, he heads into the forest. Amid the light snowfall, Lu makes a mental note to visit Dia, his former master, before the snow piles up. Sensing wolves stalking prey, he decides to steal their kill. As he approaches, he realizes their target is a scrawny girl. Leaping into action, he effortlessly dispatches the pack. Lu demands to know who she is and why she's so deep in the forest. Trembling, the girl swears she means no harm and pleads for her life. He repeats his question, and she admits, voice shaking, that her destitute family cast her out. A traveler told her the region beyond the mountains, Tuatha Day, was prosperous, and she was trying to reach it. Later, Lu feeds the homeless girl and warns her to eat slowly if she wants seconds of his porridge. As she devours her second bowl, he privately notes his ignorance of the neighboring lord's cruelty. Revealing he's the son of Tuatha Day's lord, the girl brightens, mentioning a supreme being who foretold this fateful meeting in her dreams. Lu offers to take her home, promising food and warmth. He admits he needs her, and at those words, she tears up. Someone wants her. She eagerly accepts. Lu asks if she thinks he's a good person. When she nods, he prepares to share a secret. He's killed before and will kill again for his work. Does she still see him as good? After a pause, she firmly says yes. Pleased, Lu lays out his terms. She must help with his work, or the deal's off. The girl vows to do anything, he's the first to need her. Satisfied, Lu extends his left hand, introducing himself fully. The girl gives her name Tarti and takes his hand. Smiling, Lu welcomes her to Tuatha Day. Lu remembers finding the little girl surrounded by wolves before rescuing her. He used his mystic eyes to assess her and, upon discovering she had mana, decided to save her for his own selfish reasons. He defeated the wolves to show off his strength, pity on her, fed her, and made her believe he could protect her. He notes to himself that by telling her he needed her, he convinced her that he alone could give her life purpose, and even admits to her that he's killed people. Lu points out that sharing secrets is a great way to build trust, and by making her feel like her choice was final, she wouldn't want to admit she'd made a mistake, ensuring she wouldn't betray him later. With that, he silently declares the brainwashing complete. 40 years ago, reincarnated one of the world's top special forces soldiers who had died in battle on the condition that he kill the hero of another world. Now, the goddess checks in on the soldier she reincarnated, only to find him lounging in bed, eating and drinking like a slob. She remarks on how he's gone from a capable soldier to a total neat. 12 years after Lu's reincarnation, Tardith, the girl he saved from the wolves 2 years earlier, wakes him up for breakfast. During the meal, Lu tells her to meet him in the training room. There, just as his father had done with him, he orders her to strip and checks her body's growth by having her perform practice stances. Xian had made his son promise not only to train her but to personally kill her if she ever betrayed them. After the checkup, Lu mentions that he's concerned about his assistant's instincts. When she attempts a surprise attack and fails, she apologizes for not meeting his expectations. Another day, Lu watches Tart chatting with other maids through a window. He notes to himself that while she's hardworking, her combat skills are progressing too slowly. She's only decent with a spare weapon, so he decides to rethink her training since obvious weapons like spears are useless for assassination. To help her improve, he designs a better knife fighting program. That night, Lu catches Tart practicing knife attacks in the training room. She apologizes for entering without permission and vows to live up to his expectations. Lu then crafts a special folding spear for her. After a successful test run, he praises her performance. The next morning, Tart wakes her sleeping master, and Lu is startled to find her curled up beside him. When he asks why she's in his bed, she admits she'd brought him tea the night before and dozed off while watching him sleep. She thanks him for giving her a way to finally prove herself. 35 years earlier, reincarnates the world's greatest samurai on the condition that he kills the hero of another world. In the present day, she asks for an update on the now 35-year-old samurai. She's shown a vision of him burning after challenging who he assumed was the hero. Later, Lu and Tart stroll through the market. A merchant calls out to Lu, thanking him for showing him a fertilizer that boosted his farm's yield. He hands Lu a bowl of vegetables as thanks. A woman approaches and gives him a basket of fresh fruit, grateful for his magic refilling the reservoir. A farmer frantically pushes through the crowd, searching for Luke. His cow has injured its hind leg. Lu takes it seriously and offers to help. On the carriage ride home, Tart praises her boss for a successful day out. She notes how much the people adore him because of his kindness. Lu explains that earning gratitude and recognition is key to managing a region. Tart asks if protecting them from bandits and monsters isn't enough to win their favor. Lu replies that strength alone isn't enough to win hearts. Tart mentions that in her hometown, there was a divide between the people and their lords. Lu offers her a fruit from the basket and grabs her hand as she reaches for it. He asks if she wishes she'd been born into the Tuatha Dé family. Nervously, Tart says if she had, she wouldn't have become his servant. Lu tells her he'd have found her no matter what and hands her the fruit. After a pause, Tart asks if he's kind to her just to win her over. Lu admits it's because he needs her. Hearing that, Tart happily vows to serve him forever. In his room, Lu stores a bow infused with far stones, crafted after studying the one Dia gave him as a farewell gift. Tart knocks, enters, and announces that his father, Cian, wants him in the training room. There, Cian asks about Tart. Lu says he's watched her closely for 2 years and found no signs of deceit or spying. Relieved, Cian agrees she's just a good girl, no need to kill her. He then tells Lu about his next test, finding him. The fight's outcome doesn't matter, but if he passes, he'll be recognized as a full family member and allowed to take on assassin jobs. In the woods, Lu finally defeats his father after many failures. Cian accepts his loss, stunned that He, the greatest Tuatha Dé assassin, was beaten by a 12-year-old. He praises Lu for understanding his words and not relying on magic. Cian admits he has nothing left to teach, only experience remains. Lu insists he still has much to learn, but Cian says he's mastered all their techniques and must forge his own path now. He tells Lu to seek what he needs to grow stronger. Eventually, he'll face a final test, but until then, he'll assist with Cian's work. Over time, Cian and his son successfully assassinate about 5 corrupt nobles in the land. On a sunny afternoon, Light accompanies his father to treat an ailing noble. On their way home in the carriage, Cian and Lu discuss the changes in their client's security. Light points out that if the noble ever becomes their target, they'd need to figure out how to get inside undetected. Cian praises his son for being a brilliant assassin and mentions he still hasn't told him about his final test. He explains that a noble's castle is like a fortress, heavily guarded to the point where they'd have to disguise themselves to complete the job. He tells Lu to pose as a merchant, since nobles often invite merchants who can supply the goods they want. Cian informs Lu that he'll be living under the identity of the Balor Trading Company. In case anyone checks his background, Cian has arranged for a fake birth record matching his supposed birthday. He instructs his son to train as a merchant under Balor until he turns 14. Lu accepts the mission, vowing to train until he can visit nobles as Ilig Balor. That night, Cian throws a big dinner and toasts to his son's departure for his final trial. He praises Lu's talents, declaring that he'll become a greater leader of the House of Tuatha Dé than he ever was. One of Lu's cousins, Rona, argues that he was next in line to lead the family after the death of Cian's first son. He claims to be the strongest, but Cian challenges him if Lu beats him in a fight. Will Rona admit Lu is stronger? Rona agrees, and almost instantly after the fight starts, Lu sneaks up and holds a knife to his throat. Rona accuses him of using dirty tricks, but Cian says that's what makes a true assassin, they're nothing like knights. He tells Lu to let Rona go, but Rona refuses to back down and attacks again. Lu pins him down and dislocates his left shoulder. Later, outside, Lu comforts his cousin and convinces him to serve under him when he becomes head of the house. He promises better treatment, points out Rona was one of the top 4 young knights in last year's tournament, and says he needs him not as an assistant but as a knight of Tuatha Dé. As a parting gift, Lu gives Rona a sword. Rona vows to become a better knight by the time Lu returns and wishes him luck on his test. The next day, Cian and Ezri say goodbye to their son and his servant. In the carriage to Miltu, Lu orders his servant to call him Ilig Balor from then on until the mission is over. In Miltu, Lu uses magic to change his silver hair to black to hide his identity. He tells Tart that for the next 2 years, he'll go by the name Ilig Balor, a merchant from Miltu, before putting on a pair of glasses to complete his disguise. Elsewhere in the city, a blue-haired girl who organizes a group of homeless girls welcomes a random tourist to Miltu. She offers him a deal to show him the best spot for liquor in the city for an agreed price and calls on one of her girls to guide him. Soon, another group of travelers hires the girls for a tour. The homeless girls never forget how grateful they are to Maha, the blue-haired girl, for finding a way to survive instead of scavenging scraps on the streets. When rain starts falling, it ruins the makeshift home the girls built between two buildings. After tending to their shelter, they gather to count their earnings. Excited they're close to having enough money for new clothes to look more presentable to potential clients. Suddenly, 3 men attack them in their hideout. Maha orders the others to run while she fights back, but unfortunately, they're all captured. The thugs turn them over to an orphanage and collect a bounty. The unsettling man in charge introduces himself. When one girl, Noin, says they don't need an orphanage, a thug punches her in the face. The director, Torin, warns that anyone who disobeys or tries to escape will face his wrath. The girls are taken to a room where they meet the rest of the group. As they talk, a thug tosses in a small sack of food, announcing it's a week's worth. While eating, they wonder what will happen to them now that they're trapped. The next day, they're forced into unpaid labor. In the sewing room, a viscount inspects them, picking one who suits his taste. He calls Torin over and pays for an overnight service from one of the girls. That night, a thug drags Ifa, the chosen girl in Maha, outside. He forces Ifa to strip, dumps water on her, and orders Maha to clean her up. Torin escorts Ifa to the Viscount's home with a wicked grin. Later, Ifa returns to the orphanage in shame, disheveled. When Maha tries to talk to her, Ifa bursts into tears and runs off. Maha follows her to a secluded barn and finds her crying in disgust. From then on, the orphanage director keeps using the girls as prostitutes. One rainy night, Maha finds Noin sobbing in the barn. Noin wails that someday, prostitution will be her only option. She grabs a sickle and slashes her face wildly. Maha tries to stop her, pushing her to the ground in tears. Noin points out that with her face ruined, no one will want her for pleasure. 2 years later, Maha overhears Torin and his thug discussing her in his office. The thug mentions she's turned 12, and Torin admits he's been itching to force himself on her. He declares she's now old enough to attract customers, and the thug adds that since Maha's beautiful and a virgin, she'll fetch a high price. Torin perversely adds that he looks forward to enjoying her after she's sold. Terrified, Maha runs to the barn and grabs a sickle, trying to disfigure her face like Noin did years ago. Just then, Lug disguised as Illig, the son of a wealthy merchant, approaches and tells her to stop crying. The next day, Lu visits the orphanage looking for someone to serve as his right hand. He approaches Maha, asks her name, and invites her to work for him. Lu tells the director he's chosen Maha as his assistant. Torin praises Lu for his good taste and adds that since the girl he picked is special, she's worth more than double the price of an average orphan. Without protest, Tart hands Torin a small chest of gold coins as payment for Maha. Torin greedily accepts the overpayment and says he can't deliver Maha that same day. He needs 3 days to prepare her transfer. Maha, who knows Torin's real plans for her, tries to object but is silenced by his threatening glare. Lu agrees to wait 3 days and asks Torin to treat Maha as part of the Balor family before leaving. That night, Torin prepares Maha for her first job as a prostitute. While Noin brushes Maha's hair, she admits she's jealous. Lu chose Maha earlier that day. She wonders if she might have been picked too if she hadn't scarred her skin 2 years ago. In the carriage, Torin discusses the night's job with Maha, gloating that he'll have her all to himself for the next 2 days. Maha tries to convince herself to endure just 2 more days before freedom, but she can't. She lashes out, punching Torin in the chest before throwing herself out of the carriage. She runs as fast as she can but is ambushed by Lloyd, one of Torin's thugs. She begs him to let her go, and he agrees but only if she sleeps with him. Suddenly, Lu appears, twists Lloyd's left arm at an unnatural angle, and flips him to the ground before offering Maha a hand. Torin rushes in and orders Lloyd to attack them. Lloyd warns his master that Lu is the illegitimate son of a powerful merchant, but Torin tells him to deal with them, fake their disappearance, and sell them to a neighboring kingdom. Lloyd charges at them, and Maha warns Lu to run their attacker has mana, but Lu quickly defeats both men, telling Torin he'll face punishment by both his hands and the law. Later, Tart disguises herself as Maha and sets up the Viscount at his home for human trafficking. At dawn, the girls show Nuan her newly healed face, and Lu asks Maha to come with him to her new home. Lu performs surgery on Balor's son, Baruid, and asks them to keep it quiet. Later, in another room, Balor thanks him and mentions that even after adding Lu's fake identity to his family registry to repay a debt to Chien, Lu's father, he's now in their family's debt again. Balor asks how he can repay him, and Lu suggests that Balor could simply remain part of his family, someone he can always return to. Lu is is happy to hear Balor has finalized Maha's adoption and politely collects the official paperwork. He now calls Maha his official sister, using her full name, Maha Balor. The next day, Lu and Balor meet privately to discuss the Balor Trading Company. Balor points out a failed liquor store and asks Lu to take over the factory and revive it. Without hesitation, Lu accepts. At home, he tells the girls about his new role under his acting father, Balor. He explains he has a different plan for the store and lays out two goals. First, to make money, and second, to stock merchandise for nobles. Tart asks if he's planning to use the store for assassinations. Lu reveals his idea to turn it into a women-focused business selling cosmetics and sweets. In his room, Lu checks himself out in a bedside mirror, reminding himself he has 5 years left to defeat the hero. Soon, Tart and Maha knock on his door, and the three of them sleep side by side on Lu's king-sized bed. Before drifting off, Lu feels relieved that his plans are slowly falling into place. The following day, Lu meets with Balor and his wife. Balor praises him for creating a prototype in just 2 days, but his wife, who's been misled into thinking Lu is Balor's illegitimate son, openly dislikes him. Lu confidently says he has something that'll win them over. He explains his cosmetics plan, but Balor warns that breaking into the industry is tough, since brand reputation matters more than quality. Lu, realizing moisturizers don't exist in this fantasy world, presents a sample. After applying it, Balor's wife is amazed by how her skin looks and feels. Lu suggests she try makeup, and once she does, she glares at him but admits she loves his product. Mira, Balor's wife, confesses she'd planned to mock whatever Lu showed them, but the moisturizer changed her mind. She jokes that she'd even accept him as her husband's illegitimate son if it meant getting more of it. Balor decides to focus the company's resources on the moisturizer and asks Mira to promote it among her friends. He then asks Lu how many bottles he can produce in a week. Lu says his max is 200. Balor suggests hiring more workers, but Lu worries about competitors copying the formula. Balor apologizes for rushing and asks how long mass production would take. Lu estimates a month and reveals a problem. A key ingredient, a rare Tuatha de Medicinius, needed to mix oil and water. He hands Balor a cost breakdown. Balor notes the real issue isn't the cost, but the fact that Tuatha de is 1,000 miles away. Lu argues the distance actually helps keep their formula secret. He promises to secure the ingredient and convince suppliers not to sell to rivals. Balor agrees and leaves the negotiations to his fake, illegitimate son. In a carriage heading to Tuatha, Lu tells Tart they need lecithin made from soybeans, which can be grown in Tuatha Deto, mix oil and water. Tart adds that even if their rivals figure out their source, they'd never manage to sneak into the land of noble assassins and steal their secrets. Lug explains he won't teach the Balor Trading Company how to produce lecithin either, ensuring they can't discard him once he's no longer useful. 6 months later, Lu and Tart discuss their business's rapid rise. Tart mentions receiving invitations from Miltu's nobles and neighboring kingdoms' princesses. She informs Lu about competitors sending spies into their factory daily. Though they bribe employees, the rivals still haven't uncovered the lecithin source. That night, Tart and Maha work together to capture a first-class spy. In the interrogation room, Lu praises them for remembering torture basics. After Tart jabs a needle-like tool into the spy's finger, Maha promises to let him go if he reveals who hired him. 30 years ago, reincarnated a DJ into another world to kill the hero. Now, she checks his progress and finds him being bullied by village thugs. Meanwhile, Lu prepares for his monthly visit to Dia's home. He asks the girls what they want to do on their day off, and Tart says she and Maha plan to go shopping later. Lu announces he'll be back by nightfall. Sneaking into Dia's room with gifts, Lu finds her showing off spells she's developed for him to transcribe. He's surprised she's already cracked reverse gravity magic before him. He hands her a box of chocolates, and she raves about the unfamiliar treat. The rest of the day passes happily for everyone. Lu bids his ex-master goodnight and leaves. Back in his room, Lu finds the girls asleep on his bed and joins them. The next morning, they wake to a strange smell coming from him. When they try to pull back the sheets, Lu covers himself tightly, nervously explaining it's a common thing for adolescent males. Tart offers to take care of him in such situations, while Maha teases that she could be both his sister and lover. As the girls chatter about tending to their master, Lu wonders if their actions are part of his plans. At night, 2 armed thugs ambush Lu's employees, threatening them to hand over their valuables. Maha arrives just in time to fight them off before they can harm the girls. After checking on them, she confronts the thugs and demands to know who they are. They insult her and attack, but Maha swiftly defeats them both and warns them never to come near her girls again. The next day, Tart announces her return and presents a small pouch containing the second buttons from all the men whose hearts she's pierced. Lu remarks that Tart is living up to her battlefield nickname, Lightning Quick Battle Maiden. Embarrassed, Tart tells her master not to use such a a cringeworthy name. She points out that their 2 years under false identities are nearly over, and Lu reflects inwardly on how much he's learned about the fantasy world during his time in Mill 2. Publicly, he's known as Ilig Balor, the young entrepreneur who turned the cosmetic brand Orna into a success. That night, Lu hands over Orna and all related business to Maha. She assures him she can protect and grow the company even in his absence, sharing her plans to expand beyond the city. She shows him a marked locationer, late father's first shop. Lu, already aware of her background, recognizes her intent to reclaim her father's company. He gives her full permission to act as she sees fit, stating that as long as it benefits their business, she's free to pursue personal matters. After Maha thanks him sincerely, Noin and the other girls enter the room, presenting Lu with a farewell gift, as thanks for employing them. They bid him goodbye, reminding him not to forget the can. Lu thanks them and promises to visit when he can. The next morning, Lu and Tart revert to their true appearances and identities. Before boarding the carriage, Maha vows to hold down the fort, while Tart apologizes for being the only one allowed to accompany their master home. Maha and Tart exchange polite words, with Maha admitting her father once told her to doubt before trusting someone. She confesses she doubted Lu repeatedly, even after realizing he wanted her for her mana and assassination skills, but helping him now brings her joy. She makes Lu promise to visit often, and with that, they depart. As the carriage rolls away, Maha watches silently, vowing to support him for life. Inside, Lu asks Tart if she'll miss Maha, and she admits she will. Tart mentions Maha is in love with him, but Lu dismisses it as admiration mistaken for romance. Suddenly, monster wolves attack the carriage. Tart swiftly defeats them with her spear, earning praise from Lu for living up to her nickname. Lu privately connects the demon's appearance to the impending arrival of the hero. Passing a soybean field, they chat briefly before Lu decides to visit the farmers, who welcome him warmly and thank him for their recent profits. Finally, Lu arrives home, where Esri dramatically overreacts, gushing about how much she's missed her son. Esri thanks Tart for putting up with her son throughout the 2-year journey. Lu asks about his father, and his mother tells him he's waiting in his makeshift office. As Lu heads off to see him, the girls chat about their life in Milto. In the study, Lu walks in with a stern look to find his father scribbling on paper. Chien praises his son for truly becoming an adult. He adds that Lu did an amazing job skyrocketing Balor's cosmetic brand using his fake identity. Lu admits that while he was the brains behind it, most of the credit goes to Balor and the product's ability to sell itself. Chien confesses the mission's real purpose was to help Lu find a life beyond assassination. He urges his son to sit and calmly explains that while you can succeed as an assassin, it's different as a merchant. He mentions Balor asked him to consider letting Lu into the business world. Lu confidently says his merchant experience has made him a better assassin. After some back and forth, Chien warns his son that the weight of being an assassin is different. Tuatha Dé uses assassination to remove threats to the Alvan Kingdom, but the kingdom won't protect them in return. He explains that abandoning exposed assassins is standard practice for Tuatha Dé, and even if they make no mistakes, clients might still leak their info. Lu responds firmly that he chooses to stay with Tuatha Dé because there are things only they can do. He says the people of Tuatha Dé and those he met in Miltu matter to him, and he wants the kingdom peaceful so they can be happy. Even if the kingdom abandons him, he's fine, he can always live as Ilig Balor. Internally, he vows to carry out assassinations by his own will, not just orders. He reveals another reason he can't leave. He's in love with Dia Viacone, and being a regular merchant wouldn't put him in a position to marry her someday. Xian laughs at his love-struck son and tells him to become an aristocratic assassin first, then hands him his first job to kill a noble selling military secrets to neighboring kingdoms for drugs, which he spreads across the realm. Xian calls the target scum who needs removing ASAP. Lu assures his father he'll do a clean job. In his room, Lu tells Tart their first target is Count Auba Venkar, who trades military intel for Vizin, a narcotic. Lu calls the Count a dirtbag profiting off flooding the kingdom with drugs. Before proceeding, Lu insists they investigate whether the target deserves assassination. He sends Maha a coded message to arrange infiltrating the Count's mansion. The next morning, Esri, having heard about the Miltu incident, enters her son's room to check for signs of wet dreams. Lu is mortified she knows about one of his darkest past moments. Tart knocks, interrupting the awkward mother-son exchange. When Esri lingers to ogle Lu as Tart helps him dress, he shoves her out. Later, Esri shows Lu 4 framed portraits of girls she's deemed daughter-in-law material. Tart grows nervous during their chat, and Lu shuts down the idea of an arranged meeting. Esri protests, demanding grandchildren before she ages. Lu lets Tart speak, and she sharply disagrees, insisting Lu's too young for matchmaking, and assuring Esri she'll stay youthful enough to see grandkids someday. Esri then asks if Tart would bear Lu's children instead, a question Tart unwittingly agrees to. Delighted, Esri gushes about the perks of Lu being with his servant. Flustered, Tart nervously vows to comply if it's her master's wish. Lu tells his mom to stop teasing, but Ezri overreacts, whining about her rude little boy going off the rails. That night, Lu disguised as Illig sets out on foot with Tart to the kingdom where Vizon is distributed. When Tart asks why they're not waiting for Maha's report, Lu explains he tasked Maha with digging up hidden intel, but he wants to observe the public side firsthand. 25 years earlier, reincarnated one of the world's top paparazzi, who'd stupidly died in a crime of passion, on the condition he'd demoralize the alternate world's hero. Now, she checks his progress, watching him stage a botched hit-and-run on the hero's carriage. Meanwhile, Lu and Tart reach Pizir. Walking through town, they spot wounded soldiers forced into battle at a disadvantage due to Count Venkor's leaked secrets. In an alley, a little girl peddles gooseberry jam to them. Sensing the setup, they play along. After Lu tastes a fingertip of jam, he hurls the basket down. 4 men emerge, accusing him of wrecking their merchandise, but Lu and Tart swiftly overpower them. Lu explains these are low-level lackeys. The drug trade won't stop until their boss is taken out. Lu approaches the girl scrambling to salvage the shattered jars. Sobbing about her mom, she leads them to her drug-addicted mother, who frantically begs for more. Lu intervenes, curing her withdrawal but notes her psychological dependence remains. Ezri is notified about a package arriving from Oran. Just then, Lu and Tart return from their trip to Pizir. Ezri shows her son the package from Oran, and Lu thanks her for letting him know. Lu then gets a report from Maha revealing that Count Asba Venkaur is the leader of the drug trade in Pizir. Lu explains that the Count distributes drugs to other lords' territories, using the excuse that the mafia moves the drugs through his land while bribing higher-ranking nobles. He points out that with this official cover and the backing of powerful families, the royal family can't touch him directly. Dealing with this kind of thing falls to the Tuatha Day family. The next day, Lu disguised as Illig travels to Pizir by carriage with Maha. Along the way, Maha tries to convince Lu to see Tart in a romantic way. She declares that once she's grown their business big enough, she'll use her position to pursue him seriously. Lu praises her as an exceptional student, and Maha confidently agrees, telling him to get ready for her. When they arrive at the Count's home, the Count's wife personally greets them. She gushes about being the first to try the upgraded moisturizer from Orna's factory. In a private sitting room, she tests the new moisturizer, blushing at how soft it makes her skin, and asks why they chose her to try it first. Lu explains that, given the Count's current influence, no one has more social momentum than him, and as his wife, she's the center of attention. The Count's wife sighs in relief about her husband's success, sharing that just a few years ago, they were poor nobles, and she couldn't even afford proper clothes. The Count enters and thanks Lu for coming. Lu introduces himself as Illig Balor, director of Orna. The Count returns the introduction, thanks him for making the trip, and after some small talk, invites Lu to a party he's hosting that night. Before leaving, he kisses his wife. Days after Lu and Maha's visit, Lu and Tart set up a magical sniper at an untraceable distance from the Count's mansion. Knowing Venkor's habit of drinking wine on his balcony while staring at the moon, Lu positions the sniper accordingly. Right on schedule, the Count steps onto the balcony and is immediately shot dead. Lu feels a pang of guilt when he sees the Count's wife wailing over her husband's body, and Tart, sensing his mood, tries to comfort him. But internally, Lu tells himself that no matter how he feels about taking a life, he doesn't regret completing the mission. Lu and Tart head home after visiting an island. Lu senses Maha's presence through his mystic eyes and steers the boat toward her. Maha greets her master and Tart, asking about their trip. Lu says the island was inconspicuous, far from shipping routes, and the lush greenery made it a good spot to stay. He thanks her for finding a place ideal for magic practice. Maha then tells Lu she has both good and bad news. During the carriage ride home, Maha reveals she's located the divine treasure Lu asked about. Confused, Tart asks what a divine treasure is. Lu explains it's an ancient, indestructible tool with unimaginable power, crafted beyond human ability. Maha says the treasure she found is the Magic Spear Gay blog, and she's negotiating to buy it from its current owner Setna Macness, also known as Kran's Hound, who's likely the hero. Lu asks if she can secure it, and Maha confidently assures him she will, despite negotiation hurdles. Lu then asks for the bad news. Maha reports a civil war has erupted in the neighboring kingdom of Swigel, with Dia's family joining the royal army. The rebels are being challenged by a formidable soldier, Setna Macness, the supposed hero. Later, Lu visits Dia to check on her during the war. Dia laughs, assuring him she's safe since the fighting is far away. Lu mentions hearing that arrogant nobles insulted the royal family and sparked the rebellion, and Dia praises him for staying informed. Lu shares his suspicion about a man wielding a divine tool, likely the hero, and offers to use his influence as Illig Balor to arrange an escape route for her family to a safer kingdom. Dia playfully acts offended, insisting she must protect her kingdom as the Count's daughter, but then softens, saying, "What will be, will be." She changes the subject, asking how he dyed his hair, and rummages through her closet for an outfit. She mentions her father and advisors are away, so she's free to go into town. She holds up 2 dresses and makes Lu pick one. Walking hand in hand, Lu teases Dia for not wearing either dress she'd chosen earlier. She explains that after matching his hair color, the outfits didn't suit anymore. Noticing many veterans in the crowd, Lu asks where she wants to go. They settle on a gift shop, where Dia demands he win her a stuffed bear. When he tries using magic, she accuses him of cheating. Lu improvises, teaching her to shoot arrows instead. On her third try, she wins the bear. Later, as they stroll through town, Dia suddenly craves lasagna, so Lu takes her to a restaurant. The scene shifts to 20 years earlier, reincarnated one of the world's greatest teachers on the condition she mentor the alternate world's hero. Back in the present, Lu and Dia share a table, flirting over their meal. After eating, they find a lost, frightened boy and quickly reunite him with his mother. Dia tells Lu she wants to take him somewhere special as a reward for helping the little boy. In the next scene, the two visit a mixed-gender hot spring. As Dia starts undressing, Lu nervously asks if the hot spring is co-ed rather than separated by gender. Dia, not understanding his concern, reassures him she's rented the place just for the two of them and keeps undressing. Lu hesitates to go naked in front of the girl he loves, but gets pulled into the bath by Dia. Soon, they start playing in the water, but Dia accidentally slips and falls in. Lu quickly saves her, shows her how to float, and joins her in the water. Dia holds his hand underwater and says she wishes they could stay like that forever. Lu points out that staying in too long can make you dizzy, but Dia insists she'd rather stay anyway. Dia confesses her love for her family and town, vowing to serve its interests to the end. She mentions her father is currently on the battlefield, but isn't worried about him losing. Even if he does, he'll always come back alive, and he's good at handling post-war matters. Lu asks if she's implying she refuses to flee, and Dia apologizes before they dive underwater to share their first kiss. Back at her place, Dia thanks Lu for making their outing so fun. She wishes him a safe journey, and Lu promises to return soon. Dia says she's about to get busy and isn't sure she'll see him until things settle down, but promises to reach out when she can. Lu says he'll wait for her, and they say goodbye. After walking a few steps, Lu turns back and promises to make lasagna for her next time before heading home. Once Lu leaves, Dia orders the soldiers, who had disguised themselves as civilians and servants, to change back into battle gear. She reverts her hair to its original color, sheds a tear, and whispers a final goodbye to Lu. Lu and Tart walk in on Cien and Esri, kneeling beside a badly injured man on the floor. Lu asks his father who the injured stranger is, and Cien tells him the man on the floor has hired them for a job and he wants Lu to carry it out. With a stern look, Cien reveals the mission's goal, to assassinate Count Viecone's daughter, Dia Viecone. Lu freezes in shock at his father's words. Cien insists this is a job Lu can't refuse, leaving the final decision to him. Lu says he has questions. He points out that House Viecone are nobles from Swigel, a neighboring kingdom, and asks if it's wise to meddle in another kingdom's affairs. Cien admits that if their involvement is exposed, it could spark an international incident. Lu argues that killing Dia doesn't align with their house's principle of only taking jobs that benefit the Alvan kingdom. Cien explains there are personal motives behind this. House Viecone fought for the royal army in Swigel's civil war and lost. Lu counters that House Viecone already paid their reparations and completed post-war procedures, but Cien says his knowledge makes the job easier. Count Viecone surrendered most of his wealth and land, but greedy nobles didn't stop there. They turned their sights on Dia, willing to do anything to seize her. To avoid further bloodshed, Dia and her father agreed to their demands. Lu wonders if Dia knew her fate the last time he saw her. Cien explains that Viecone's vassals refused to hand her over, even killing the envoys sent to collect her. The house's popularity was so strong that not only did the vassals rebel, but the people formed a volunteer army, trapping the Count and Dia in their castle. Cien reveals the Count himself ordered his daughter's assassination. The injured man risked his life to deliver the message. Cien clarifies that Dia's assassination is a ruse, the only way to save her. Lu argues that since they've rebelled, death is inevitable no matter what. Dia can't be saved. The Count would rather fake her death to help her escape. Cien declares only the Tuatha Dé can pull this off. Lu asks why his father took the mission, knowing he rarely bends his principles, even for a dear friend. Cien says he owes the Count a debt. If saving Dia is what he wants, he'll do it. Lu asks what happens if he refuses. Cien replies that Lu himself is willing to take the mission but doubts he has enough mana to time travel and save Dia. The injured man left Viecone 3 days ago, and the fighting has already begun. After thinking it over, Lu accepts partly because he owes Dia for teaching him magic, partly because he loves her, and partly to keep his promise to help her whenever she asks. Cien admits he once broke his principles for his wife, who has Viecone blood. He reveals Lu and Dia are cousins, hence their shared silver hair. Cien wishes Lu luck. Later, Tart finds Lu preparing for his journey to Swigel. He tells her she can't come, the destination is over 300 kilometers away, and he'll be moving fast. Tart says she knows but offers to share her strength by carrying him part of the way. She creates a wind resistance barrier, grabs Lu, and sprints at full speed. Tart, who has spent her life trying to make her master happy, runs tirelessly for hours soars under the sun, through the rain, and into the night until her stamina gives out, and the wind barrier she created shatters into pieces. Clutching her trembling legs, she tearfully apologizes for not being able to run any farther. Lu thanks her for her help, mentioning it's the first time he's ever covered so much ground in such a short time. Tart asks if he's in love with Dia, and when he confirms it, she makes him promise they'll return together. After watching her master continue his journey, Tart finally breaks down, crying from years of pent-up emotions. In the present, Lu scans the area around the castle with his mystic eyes. After assessing the situation, he realizes about 500 soldiers sled by commanders with man-air defending the castle from enemies. Formulating a plan, he takes action. He conjures a magical sniper rifle and starts picking off the magic users among the troops surrounding the castle. The soldiers' quick reaction to his attacks tells him they recognize what a gun is, and he guesses they've held off their enemies for 3 whole days thanks to Dia's gunfire support. To create an opening, Lu pulls out a charged far stone known to explode violently when overloaded with mana and attaches it to arrowheads as makeshift grenades. The arrow strikes the ground with a deafening blast, prompting one of the commanders to order the soldiers to scatter. The enemies seize the chaos among the castle's defenders as their chance to attack. Meanwhile, Lu carries a dead female soldier and slips unnoticed into Dia's room to ensure their plan goes off without a hitch. He disables the magical lock used to track the Count and his daughter. When Dia sees Lu enter, she hugs him tightly, relieved he's come to save her. Lu asks if she's okay. Count Viaconi surveys the scene before him and teases his daughter for being more familiar with romance than he'd assumed. He introduces himself as Dimor Viaconi, and Lu does the same in return. Lu explains he's here to answer Dimor's request, but Dimor admits that while he ordered his vassals to flee, he's sure they refused to leave without him. He tells Lu they locked him and his daughter in after sensing his intent to surrender. Lu asks where Dimor plans to go next. Dimor reveals his strategy. He'll lure the enemy by going on a rampage, then disappear once his allies escape, giving them time to regroup and reclaim the kingdom. Lu announces he'll burn the room to stage Dia's suicide. He instructs her to shout a speech out the window first. As Dia prepares, Lu suddenly senses grave danger, just as a massive spear hurtles toward them like a boomerang, returning to its thrower. Using his mystic eye, Lu scans the attacker and detects an inhuman level of mana. From a distance, the man locks eyes with Lu, who urgently tells the Count and Dia to cover their ears. Lu conjures an armored tank and fires a magical missile at the enemy. After the blast, Dimor asks about the device. Lu explains it's one of his assassin tools for long-range kills. To his shock, the attacker stands unharmed, laughing maniacally and boasting that he's never felt pain until now. Lu notes the man has an S-rank berserk skill, fueled by rage, that boosts his physical and magical power. He admits even another direct hit won't scratch him. Dimor urges Lu to flee with Dia while he holds the attacker off, since faking her death is no longer possible. Lu asks if Dimor knows the man's identity. Dimor reveals he's the one who ended the civil war, forcing the royal family to surrender when no one could stop him. The maniac laughs again, offering to let them go if the one who hit him steps forward for a duel. If he loses, he'll withdraw his forces and never target Viacone again. Lu pieces it together. This must be the hero. The man introduces himself as Sidana McNess, and Lu remembers Maha mentioning his magic spear, Gay Blog. His suspicions are confirmed. Meanwhile, in the house of Tuatha Day, Chien and his wife receive news about the hero. Back at the scene, Satana pressures Lu into a one-on-one fight, praising him as the first worthy opponent he's met. Lu tells Dimor and Dia he has no choice but to accept the hero's focus is on him now. Dia asks if he really thinks he can win, but Lu admits the missile didn't leave a scratch, so a duel is hopeless. She calls it reckless, but Lu clarifies he'll lose a duel, but that's not his plan. Calmly, he crafts a metal object. Dia asks why he's so composed facing death. Lu replies flatly, "I'm not a knight or a hero, I'm an assassin. His only option? Assassination. And that's exactly what he'll do." Lu crafts a spell to transport the metal he made and invites the Count to join him. Dimor apologizes for dragging Lu into this mess and proposes using their remaining forces to hold off Satana so Lu can escape with Dia. But Lu shuts down the idea, calling it doomed. The Count orders his men back to the castle while he and Lu march towards Satana. Lu declares he'll accept the duel challenge and starts an internal countdown, 444 seconds. He introduces himself as Fairy Makoni, and Satana vows to remember him for being the first to make him bleed. Using his mystic eyes, Lu realizes Satana not only has berserk skills but can also heal minor wounds instantly. Lu asks if Satana will withdraw his forces if he loses the duel. Satana agrees, adding he'll even kill anyone who dares oppose Viaconi. Lu coolly replies that he plans to kill Satana in the fight and needs proof the promise will hold after his death. Satana, amused, says no one's ever talked to him like that and orders a soldier to enforce his word if he dies. Lu's internal timer hits 221 seconds. He asks what happens if he dies, and Satana smirks, promising to kidnap the princess and slaughter everyone else. At 125 seconds, Lu tells Satana to pull his soldiers back, claiming claiming he's not confident they'll avoid getting caught in the crossfire. Sitana barks the order, and Lu tells the Count to leave the rest to him. They take their stances. Lu conjures a dagger, while Sitana mocks him for thinking he stands a chance against his spear. Lu's countdown hits 44 seconds, and he stalls further, suggesting they flip a coin first. Sitana humors him. As they prep for battle, Lu counts down to 7 seconds then. At 0, Sitana gets obliterated by a crushing impact from above. Lu explains it's a space assassination tool from his past life. The metal he dropped was forged with an earth spell that doubled gravity on the target, layered with more spells to launch it into orbit and slam it down on Satana. After the spectacular hit, Lu pats himself on the back for inventing a hero-killing spell before passing out. He wakes to Dia's voice. She asks if he's okay with how the battle ended. Though saddened, she thanks him no one got hurt, and he risked everything to save her. Lu shows her the pendant she gave him as kids, reminding her of his promise. Dia vows to repay him, but Lu says he's just settling his debt to her. If she starts repaying, they'll be stuck in an endless loop. With no enemies left to witness, Lu points out faking her death is impossible now. Dia smiles and he surprises her with a kiss. They arrive at Tuatha De's house, where his parents and Tart are waiting.